warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat sejahtera. Kami daripada kumpulan 12 iaitu Tabura STEM dari SMK Taman Bungaraya 1. Kumpulan ini di bawah bimbingan Puan Khalidah binti Ramli.
Pandemik COVID-19 yang melanda Malaysia telah memberi kesan yang besar kepada segenap lapisan masyarakat. Peningkatan kes COVID-19 di seluruh negara, terutamanya daripada sektor perkilangan, menyebabkan penyebaran virus COVID-19 semakin sukar dibendung. Melihat kepada situasi ini, kumpulan Tabura STEM mencari suatu solusi bagi menangani peningkatan kes COVID-19 yang berpunca daripada sektor industri.
Di antara punca yang menyebabkan wabak coronavirus semakin menular di kluster tempat kerja ialah kawasan tempat kerja yang sempit. Ini menyebabkan pekerja terpaksa bersesak di kawasan yang tertutup. Yang kedua, tidak mengamalkan penjarakan fizikal di tempat kerja, terutamanya ketika waktu rehat dan berbual bersama rakan sekerja.
Bagi mengatasi masalah penjarakan fizikal di tempat kerja, kumpulan kami telah menghasilkan sebuah social distancing sensor yang dapat mengesan jarak dan memberikan amaran sekiranya jarak di antara pekerja kurang daripada 1 meter.
Memperkenalkan hasil inovasi kami iaitu social distancing sensor.
Social distancing sensor ini dihasilkan bagi menangani masalah COVID-19 yang melanda di negara kita. Industri perkilangan yang merupakan penyumbang terbesar bagi peningkatan kes. Oleh itu, pemakaian social distancing sensor ini difokuskan kepada para pekerja industri perkilangan.
Selain itu, sensor ini dapat mengesan dan mengetahui serta menghitung seberapa ramai orang yang datang menghampiri seseorang pekerja dengan ukuran jarak kurang daripada 1 meter melalui aplikasi ThinkSpeak Viewer dari masa ke semasa. Aplikasi ThinkSpeak Viewer ini dapat digunakan dan dikawal di komputer riba dan telefon pintar. Oleh itu, seseorang pekerja dapat memantau dengan lebih mudah pergerakannya di mana-mana sahaja.
Berakhir sudah video pembentangan kami. Jutaan terima kasih diucapkan kepada semua pihak yang terlibat bagi menjayakan projek ini sama ada secara langsung maupun secara tidak langsung. Terutamanya kepada pihak MyFlowLab dan Stream IoT serta Universiti Teknologi Petronas. #Stay safe.
#Take care of yourself.
#Stay at home.
I am Davina Rajaratnam.
I am Vidyasri Ramesh.
We are 13 years old. We are Tech Phantom 2 from SMK Raja Mahadi.
Our mentor is Mr. Logan Nathan Alagai.
Is a common bird to the public as they are always seen tearing opening trash bags, destroying food and making a lot of noise, leave messy droppings that can spread disease, throw garbage around and cause property damage to buildings and landscapings. In Klang municipality, there was an 7,000 bird shoot from 2010 to 2014. In Kuala Lumpur City Hall, Enforcement Department shoot between 4,400 and 5,400 crows in 15 to 18 operations annually.
There are many ways to avoid crows from coming. From our research, we have identified that loud predator sound can keep crows away from coming. Hence, we identified to build our crow chaser using Arduino distance sensor. This is how we develop our project and make it work. We have used flow logistics to develop the coding to set up the Arduino distance sensor, which can sense the image of the crow at the distance within 50 cm from the sensor. At the same time, coding was developed to link the eagle sound with the distance sensor. Once the board has been activated, it was placed in the box where the Bluetooth speaker is placed as well. The Arduino board works with power bank and is portable. We can place it outside of the house, garden and many more places.
We have done some tests run using our crow chaser around our house, and this is the average data collected where the number of crows decreases when we frequently use the crow chaser. Day 1, the number of crows are 9. Day 2, the number of crows are 6. Day 3, the number of crows are 3.
The effects of pest activities can cause problems to human health, stain the residential areas and vehicles, and cause damage to building structures. This will certainly cause problems. If not handled with freshness, it may become more serious problem. Even though the Malaysian government has came up with crow hunting operation, but it is not welcomed by many netizens, where they cry for and express their grievances towards the unsightly and cold-hearted operation. With our project, we can easily reduce the problem that has been stated without killing the crows. Our crow chaser is definitely the best solution as it's easy to use, it's a portable device, so we can use it anytime, anywhere we want, and most importantly, everyone can afford it.
Let's
Get rid
of the crow
with our crow chaser.
Thank you.
Greetings everyone, I am Audrey Tan from ShowcaseUTP2 Johor Bahru. Let me introduce one of my favourite books to you, Flowers for Algernon. This book by an American writer, Daniel Keyes, falls under the science fiction genre, but it's a lot more than just an imagination of the future. This book was so ahead of its time that it won the Hugo Award for the best story in 1960. The story is narrated by Charlie Gordon, a 32-year-old mentally challenged man who is the first human to undergo a surgery that will increase his mental capabilities. This very same surgery had already been performed successfully on a mouse called Algernon. The surgery gives Charlie a genius-level intellect, but it does not make him emotionally intelligent. He still has difficulty in making friends and connecting with people. In my opinion, Charlie has two characters in this story, one before and one after the surgery. The Charlie before the surgery just wants to please everyone around him and be smart. The Charlie after the surgery is much more complicated. His newfound intellect changes his perspective of the world. The more he reflects on his life, the more unhappy he becomes with the way he is treated and how tainted the world is. Charlie after the operation says, and I quote, "I don't know what's worse, to not know what you are and be happy, or to become what you've always wanted to be and to feel lonely." This shows that the story is more than just a science fiction. It's almost poetic and thought-provoking. It shows the importance of understanding and sharing our feelings with one another. There's a special word for that, empathy. However, my favorite passage of the book is on page 249. It states, "In intelligence is one of the greatest human gifts, but all too often a search for knowledge drives out the search for love. Well, I could easily give this book a 5-star rating. With what's happening around the world right now, this book will help you find perspective and may even help you feel content with being a human. Thank you for listening. Once again, I am Audrey Tan.
Good day, honorable judges, teachers, and fellow friends. My name is Clarice Soyaning. I'm from Class 5S and I'm studying at SJKC Banda Sari Botani, Ipoh, Perak. I would like to share this 147-page book titled Charlie and the Chocolate Factory by Roald Dahl and illustrated by Quentin Blake. This book is published by the Penguin Group in 2014. This is a classic children's book about 5 kids who want a chance to twirl Mr. Willy Wonka's mysterious candy-making operation. The vivid story of each kid's adventures will keep you entertained and excited throughout the whole book. The protagonist, Charlie Bucket, lived a life of poverty with his bedridden grandparents and his parents who cannot earn enough money to buy them food. However, Charlie is rich in love. The love between him and his family makes their daily struggles more bearable. In the story, various forms of bad behavior are demonstrated and are punished. They are also accompanied by rhymes that will make you giggle. The moral of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory is that children who are honest and well-behaved will be rewarded in the end. Let me tell you about my favorite part of the book. Everybody in the Bucket residence was starving. Charlie got so thin, he looked like a skeleton. Then one day, coming home from school, he spotted 50 pence in the snow. He picked it up and rushed to the store. He bought a Wonka's Whipple Scrumptious Fudge Mellow Delight. He wolfed the chocolate down. Because the last bar was so yummy, Charlie bought another. He opened up the wrapper and there came a flash of gold. Charlie Bucket had found the last golden ticket. But after he went home and told everybody about it, Grandpa Joe got so happy that he jumped out of bed and started doing a victory dance. Greetings to you, the lucky finder. The day you'll visit is the first day of February. You must come to my factory at 10 o'clock sharp in the morning and you're allowed to bring 1 or 2 members of your family. The very next day was the 1st of February. Mr. Wonka was waiting to welcome his lucky visitors. This was where the adventures really began. Roald Dahl is truly the world's #1 storyteller. He wrote all the ills that have long infected our society. Greed, brattiness, selfishness, and the TV that kills the imagination of little kids. Last but not least, I give this book a 5-star rating. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and a very good day everyone. My name is Nur Iman Christina binti Muhammad Mustafa. I'm from SK Batu Gajah. Aladdin is the title. So, of course the book is about Tada! Aladdin! It is an interesting little fairy tale of all time. This book was published in 2019 by Autumn Publishing. This 64 pages classic storytime collection featuring a young man named Aladdin, a beautiful princess named Jasmine, an evil sorcerer named Jafar, and may compete with a magical genie. I'm pretty sure boys and girls will both like it. It's an easy chapter book with pictures on every page. I love the illustrations. I think age 8 to 12 would like this, but younger kids would like the story being read to them. My favorite part of this book was when Aladdin frees the genie from the magic lamp and he finds his wishes granted. His first wish was to be a prince. It is because he wanted to be with Princess Jasmine. The genie used Aladdin's second wish to rescue him after the evil sorcerer threw him into the sea with ball chain to his legs. Finally, Aladdin used his third wish to free the genie for good. I give this book 5 stars since I think it's important for other children learn about friendship and enjoy their bedtime story with entertaining and adventurous book. I don't want to be a caterpillar. My mission is to be a bookworm. That's all for today. Bye!
Major luck.
Hello, I'm Ian Lee. Today, I'll be reviewing this book, Angel of Storms by Trudy Carnival. It was published in 2015 by Orbit. This is the second book in the Millennium Zoo trilogy. It's a fantasy fiction and I absolutely enjoyed reading it, although it's a heavy book with 568 pages. The story follows two main characters, Riel and Tyen, who exist in different worlds. Riel lives in a world where the use of magic is forbidden to anyone but priests. She has been shunned by her community for using magic. Riel then meets the angel Walhan, who makes her an extraordinary offer. But what does he want in return? In contrast, Tyen's world relies on magic for living. A teacher of magic, he's desperately trying to free Vela, a woman whose soul is trapped in a book. When Rain, ruler of all the worlds, outlaws the teaching of magic, Tyen makes a deal with him. Are Walhan and Rain the same person? And if so, what are his plans? The concept for this book is so impressive. Multiple worlds with different views on magic, all created living. I love how the author integrates the idea that Riel's angel and Tyen's Rain are in fact the same person. Rain remains an elusive and enigmatic character throughout. You're never sure if you can trust him. Is he a villain using immoral tactics or an immortal charged with an impossible murder? All in all, this is a roller coaster of a book doused with magic that will leave you breathless. It tests both protagonists to their limits and ends on a note that will leave you craving for the next book. I give this book a 9 out of 10 for its superb storytelling and amazing plot lines. I would definitely recommend it to all fans of fantasy and science fiction. Finally, I will leave you with this passage from the book as a teaser. She knew too little of either to know who deserved that life more. But the one thing she was certain of, which her own actions had taught her, was that killing someone should not be done lightly or selfishly. Go read the book to find out more. Thanks for watching, and if you like this book, please give it a thumbs up. Bye!
Most of us think the goal and peaceful life is to be happy. These ideas keep pushing us forward, searching for things we don't have. If you want to build a meaningful life and quit the constant chase of happiness, then this book is definitely for you. This book was published in 2017 by Broadway Books, entitled The Power of Meaning. Emily Esfahani Smith, author of this book, explains that it's actually the search for meaning that will bring fulfillment. We have a lot to be happy about. It's not happiness that makes life worth living, it's meaning. There is so much to this book that it's hard to boil it down in a review. People have different views on what makes a meaningful life. Some people believe that you must serve others to live a meaningful life, while others think that belonging to something greater than yourself is the way to go.
Belonging, purpose, storytelling, and transcendence are the 4 pillars of meaning that I have learned from this book, and they are accessible to everyone, regardless of religious beliefs, cultural backgrounds, or economic status. Belonging meant being in relations where we are valued for who we are intrinsically and where we value others as well. For example, creating a bond with family and friends. Moving on to the next pillar is purpose. Purpose is less about what we want than about what we give. The key to purpose is using our strength to serve others. That's how we contribute and feel needed. Purpose gives us something to live for, some why that drives us forward. Furthermore, the third pillar of life is transcendence. Transcendence states are those rare moments when we are lifted above the hustle of daily life. Our sense of self fades away and we feel connected to a higher reality. These transcendent experiences can change us. Now moving on to the last pillar, storytelling. Creating a narrative from the events of our life brings clarity. It helps us understand ourselves more. But we don't always realize that we're the authors of our stories. Our life isn't just a list of events, and story doesn't change overnight. It could take years and struggles, but embracing those painful memories can lead to new insights and wisdom that sustains us. From reading this book, I've realized that the pillars were part of the architecture, and the presence of these pillars within our family and institutions help us lead richer, live more deeply, and more satisfying lives. Each of us need to find the meaning of life on our own, but remember, meaningful life is an ongoing process. As each day goes by, so do the happiness. We're constantly creating our lives and story too. I highly recommend this book to everyone who wants to expand how they view the world and the people with whom they share it with. That's all from me, Nur Idina, representing SMK Convent Ipoh.
Hey guys,
We are Dream Trail from SMK Tun Mutahe.
Our board game name is Go Green City.
This board game is about competing for a CEO of a Hexaventure company.
the future lifestyle of this board game is to reduce carbon emission in our daily life.
The players need to manage economy and control the carbon emission of a city.
We hope that players will learn how to manage money and put emphasis on environmental issues after playing this game.
First, players need to draw a character card. Next, the bank gives each player $3,000 except Chairman's son, Ron. After that, players can start to manage their territory, no limit to the number of moves. Next, player roll the dice and one of the biggest numbers is starting to move and other players follow the clockwise.
First, player receive $1,000 per round. After that, players can make a move on their turn.
They can buy a land like trees or industry, answer a question to burn one of the player's land, repair the land that has been burned, and activate their skill.
Player will pay the cost of the land to the bank. Players can place the industry anyway but need to follow the structure that had given. Players receive profit according to different industries in every round. Player need to solve a question in 1 minute to burn one of the player's land. Players whose land will be burnt can decide which land to burn, but they can only choose one piece of land in an industry, not the vacant land. The burnt land will be marked with blue lands. Players can answer a question in 1 minute to repair the land. If player answer wrongly, players can pay $1,000 to repair the land. The witch player must roll a dice to determine if he or she can burn another player's land. When the players did not have any money, they still can activate their skill or power.
The game must be stopped after 2 hours.
If one of the player's land is filled up before the time is up, he can still get 1,000 from the bank, but he must add 10,000 kg of carbon emission every round. When any piece of an industry is burned, players cannot count the industry into the total value of the industry, but the carbon emissions still have to be calculated and there will be no profit.
The player with the most total amount is the winner.
Do you know that soap has been around for more than 2,300 years? We use soap every day in our lives for washing, bathing, and all manners of cleaning. But have you ever thought about how soaps are made?
Hello, I'm Ian Lee, and together with Hawson,
Hello,
and Hin Huang,
hello.
we are going to tell you the story behind the science of soap synthesis. Soap is a chemical compound of a salt of a fatty acid. At the heart of soap synthesis is a chemical reaction consisting of alkaline hydrolysis of fat, called saponification. The simplest saponification reaction can be written as fat plus alkali to produce soap and glycerol. Saponification literally means turning into soap. And this is the saponification chemical equation, where triglyceride added with an alkali, which is sodium hydroxide here, will give a molecule of glycerol and soap. Triglyceride is the scientific name for fat, made of triesters of glycerol and 3 fatty acids. On the ester bond, triglyceride can be hydrolyzed in the presence of an alkali to glycerol and fatty acid components. The fatty acids produced are deprotonated by the hydroxide ions to become carboxylate salts, which are the soap. All different types of fats and oils can be used to make soap. Anything from animal fats to vegetable oils to exotic tropical plant oils. But the alkali used to make soap are just two, either sodium hydroxide or potassium hydroxide. When sodium hydroxide is used in the saponification process, a hard soap is produced, which is solid and less soluble. When potassium hydroxide is used, a soft soap is made, which is liquefied and dissolves faster. A soap molecule consists of two parts: the non-polar, hydrophobic, long hydrocarbon tail, which is water-hating, and the negatively charged, polar, hydrophilic carboxylic head, which is water-loving. Soap acts by emulsifying fats and oils. The polar hydrophilic head dissolves in water, whereas the non-polar hydrophobic tail dissolves in oil or grease, forming micelles around oil droplets. These micelles become suspended in water and are easily washed away. A disadvantage of soap is that it forms insoluble salts with magnesium and calcium ions present in hard water, producing a precipitate called soap scum. In acidic water, soap scum is also formed when soap salts are converted into free fatty acids, which are less soluble. Because of this, soaps are ineffective in acidic water and hard water. This is where synthetic soap, called detergents, come into the picture, which are minimally affected by metal salts or acids. There are 3 different types of detergents, according to the electrical charge they carry in their polar heads: anionic, cationic, and non-ionic. Detergents are similar to soaps in that they all have a polar head group, which is hydrophilic, and a long non-polar tail group, which is hydrophobic, allowing them to function effectively as a surfactant. But they are not prepared from natural fats or oils, and they are different in their structure, properties, and applications as cleaning agent. And now, the story continues in Hawson.
Soap and detergents are in high demand because of their diverse cleansing abilities. For generations, their use have increased until their manufacture became an industry essential to the comfort and health of civilized mankind. Today, the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic and the emergence of other lethal infections worldwide are creating a huge demand for disinfecting products to maintain hygiene and prevent the spread of infection, which is a major factor fueling market growth in the soap and detergent industry. What is the projected economic value of the soap and detergent industry? Fortune Business Insights says that the global market size was $34.09 billion in 2019 and is projected to reach $55.29 billion by 2027. Population growth, especially in households with children, drives demand in the consumer sector, while growth in economy drives demand in the commercial sector. Factors such as low-cost manufacturing processes, easy availability of raw materials, and fewer regulations on production have helped with large-scale productions of soap and detergents. Today, many large soap companies use a continuous process, also known as the hydrolyzer process, to produce soap in mass amounts at a faster rate. The fat is split into fatty acids and glycerin in a tall column known as the hydrolyzer and purified before being saponified with an alkali. This cuts down on the process of removal of impurities and glycerin in the soap, speeding up production and driving up.
Hi everyone, I'm Kelly from SMK Developer. Today, my friends and I are going to share you about the knowledge that you must know about soup. Let's get started.
Hello everyone, I'm Xingyi from 5STEM1. Saponification is a process by which triglycerides are reacted with sodium or potassium hydroxide, lime, to produce glycerol and fatty acid salt called soap. Triglycerides are most often animal fats or vegetable oils. When sodium hydroxide is used, a hard soap is produced. Using potassium hydroxide results in a soft soap. While the one-step triglyceride reaction with lime is most frequently used, there is also a two-step saponification reaction. In the two-step reaction, steam hydrolysis of the triglyceride yields carboxylic acid rather than its salt and glycerol. In the second step of the process, alkali neutralizes the fatty acid to produce soap. The two-step process is slower, but the advantage of the process is that it allows for purification of the fatty acids and thus produce a higher quality soap.
Hello everyone, I'm Jingli Chu from 5STEM1. The soap manufacturing process can be separated into two main groups, the kettle process and the continuous process. The kettle process produces soup in one batch at a time, while the continuous process makes soup continuously. Most big soup manufacturers use the continuous soup manufacturing process because it produces a more consistent product. The continuous process also creates soup faster, producing soup in about 6 hours compared with the 4 to 11 days the kettle soup making process takes. In the continuous soap manufacturing process, molten fat is sent into container where hot, high-pressure water is sprayed into it. This separates the fat into component parts. The fatty acids are then purified and sent into another container, where the alkaline substance is added. Once the soap is made, some manufacturers may whip it into incorporate air. The entire mixture is then poured into mold and allowed to cool, or it cooled in large slabs that can be cut later. The first step of the kettle soap manufacturing process is to boil the fat and the alkaline substance together. Salt is then added to allow the soap to separate from glycerin, which sink to the bottom of the container and is removed. After this, the soap is pitched, water is added and the liquid is boiled. This causes the soap, called neat soap, to rise to the top and the water and other substances, collectively called nitrate, to settle at the bottom. The soap is removed and like soap made using the continuous method. Is cooled in mold is allowed to cool as a large slab to be cut later. Soap has its economical value. Soap is easy to produce, readily soluble, does not spoil, and transport easily. Its soap can supplement household income. Furthermore, soap made with mixed tree oil is more affordable than the raw oil itself. Through the project, it was found that women are particularly interested in new economic activities which produce direct financial benefit for them and their families. However, the additional works must result in immediate, tangible benefit to ensure continued adoption. A recent study on the environmental impacts of soup and their associated packaging found that bar soup have a lower environmental impact than liquid soup in many important categories, including carbon footprint, ozone depletion potential, and eutrophication potential. This is due largely to the higher energy requirements of producing the raw materials and packaging for the liquid soup. Lesson here for the environmentally conscious shopper is that product selection is really a black and white issue. Deciding which product to buy often comes down to decide which environmental impacts one personally is most interested in alleviating. Most of the dust on our skin is removed thanks to the soap that we use for the sole purpose of cleaning it, but we may be causing more harmful to our environment in the process. Soap made of chemicals and resulting runoff from our bath, which often consists of soapy water, dust particles, grease, and various chemicals, is released directly to the local environment. It may not seem like much, but this is bound to affect the environment to an extent. Besides, soap will also cause some negative health effects to humans. One of the negative health effects of soap is allergic reactions. These days, soap are more chemicals than anything natural, and naturally some of them are bound to cause our allergy to flare up. One early indication that we have an issue with soap in question is when our skin breaks into a rash and even develops hive. That's an indication that we are allergic to that particular soap and need to consult a doctor to help mitigate the allergic reaction. Soap may also cause dry skin. As we know, soap often comes with an increased pH, which, while being effective in removing the bacteria from our skin, can cause it to dry up. Dry skin condition can cause our skin to become more easily rashed. That's why we need to go for a soap come with some amount of moisturizer, or we can always apply a moisturizer after we finish taking our bath. Let us perform an experiment by using soap. The materials used in these experiments are 2 containers, 1 bar soap, distilled water, and tap water. First, fill the containers 1/3 full with tap water and distilled water respectively. Then, put the bar soap in the distilled water and rub with hand vigorously for a few seconds. After a few seconds, put the soap in the tap water and rub it through. And we can observe the water. Water with more lather is soft water, while the water appears cloudy and have scalp is hard water. When soap is added to hard water, the calcium and magnesium ion present in hard water react with soap. The sodium salts present in soaps are converted to their corresponding calcium and magnesium salts, which are precipitated as scum. The insoluble scum sticks on the clothes, and so the cleaning capacity of soap is reduced. That's all. Thank you for watching our video. Hope you like this video and have a nice day.
Hi! Have you forgotten about a famous silent treat? Introducing global warming. Global warming, a gradual increase in the overall temperature of the Earth's atmosphere that have been observed since pre-industrial between 1815 and 1990. Global warming generally attributed to the greenhouse effect caused by increased levels of carbon dioxide, CFCs, and other pollutants due to human activities.
History of global warming. Sven Arrhenius was a Swedish scientist that was who claimed in 1896 that fossil fuel combustion may eventually result in enhanced global warming. He proposed the relation between atmospheric carbon dioxide concentration and temperature. He found the average surface temperature of the Earth is about 50 degrees Celsius because of infrared absorption capacity of water vapor and carbon dioxide. This is called the natural greenhouse effect.
The global warming is a deadly threat. The main reason of this problem comes from the greenhouse gas. Greenhouse gas is a sort of carbon dioxide or methane gas that retain heat and not reflect back to atmosphere. The increase of carbon dioxide to atmosphere from many sources such as the car industry, fossil fuel, coal, oil, natural gas and hydrocarbon compound. Even though carbon dioxide is only 10 to 40% from the total post-combustion outlet into atmosphere, it still contributes to underside global warming. With that, the problem many researchers become aware of is carbon dioxide emission problem. Carbon dioxide that produced in natural gas manufacture not only cause the global warming or climate change condition, but it still causes the corrosion problem inside pipeline and equipment of the process plant and reduce the heating value of the gas. Therefore, carbon dioxide to be removed to eliminate or reduce the disadvantages in daily operation.
Did you know the effect of global warming? There will be more frequent and brutal weather. Temperature will get worse and lead to many horrible disasters, such as heat waves that lead to increasing sea level and warming ocean, and then comes flood or maybe even a tsunami that directly destroy our residents and lead to many deaths. Don't forget the wildlife. They are also affected and will become extinct if all this happens. There is also other horrible effects such as drought, storm, outbreak, and pollution. But in the end, all effects were harmful and threatening to all living things, especially ourselves, human beings.
How can we stop global warming? There's a lot of ways to stop global warming. First, we can start by practice to recycle. We can recycle our waste such as plastic bottles and aluminium cans. Recycle is an eco-friendly way to manage our waste. Second, we need to save energy. We need to save electricity by unplug unused electronic device and use electric saving product. Last but not least, we should drive less. Instead, we should use public transportation or do a carpool. This way, we can reduce greenhouse emissions.
Thank you.
One of the ways to save money is by track your spending. We can fall into the trap of thinking spending on big things is what gets us into trouble, when often it is the little things that end up costing us more. That's why it is important to keep track of your day-to-day spending, so you don't live beyond your means. Your bank statement will tell you how much money is going into your bank account and how much is going out. You can then compare it with your budgets to see whether you are sticking to it or not. You can then identify areas where you can save. Next is savings account. By restricting access to your money, savings accounts can give you a higher interest rate than a basic transaction account. Savings accounts are somewhere you can put some or all of your discretionary income, the amount left over after paying for personal necessities and tax, and any windfalls. You can ward off the temptation to spend this discretionary money by setting up automatic scheduled transfers from your main account to your savings account. Next is Smooth Your Bills. Bill smoothing is a payment system offered by utility providers, whereby you pay them fortnightly or monthly, instead of having to pay the whole bill in one go. It protects people on tight budget from bill shock and having to go into debt and potentially pay interest. This is avoid a poverty mentality. These people tend to have self-limiting beliefs and to make decisions based on fear of loss or failure. In contrast, people with a prosperity or abundance mentality base their decisions on what the possible benefits are. Next is to use saving planning. Use saving goals planner to work out how much you need to regularly set aside to reach your savings target, and what discretionary spending you could cut in the process. And last but not least is to control your impulse. Ironically, it's the willpower of pure shoppers that tends to get deleted the most. This is a result of the fact their face repeated.
difficult financial decisions. If you see something you want, wait at least a day before you buy it. 30 days if it's a non-necessary big purchase. You might find the urge passes. Another way of short-circuiting your impulse to buy is to work out how many hours of work the purchase price represents. Chances are you will think the item is not worth it.
Yang boleh saya bantu?
Sebenarnya, ibu bapa saya akan bercerai tidak lama lagi dan saya beserta adik akan mengikut ibu saya hidup. Disebabkan itu, saya amat risau terhadap perbelanjaan saya yang akan melanjutkan pelajaran ke universiti pada tahun depan kerana saya tahu jika hanya bergantung pada pendapatan ibu saya, hal ini sememangnya tidak cukup.
Oh, begitu. Saya amat faham keadaan kamu. Jangan terlalu bimbang terhadap masalah kewangan ini. Kamu masih ada masa untuk memperbaiki kehidupan dalam tempoh masa ini sebelum ibu bapa kamu bercerai. Saya akan berkongsi pengalaman saya dalam pengurusan kewangan secara efektif kepada kamu.
Terima kasih, Amy.
Baiklah, hal ini sebenarnya berlaku 3 bulan yang lalu. Pada masa itu, bagaimanakah cara untuk menguruskan kewangan secara efektif? Saya harus berdikari dari sekarang. Saya tidak patut berbelanja tanpa perancangan yang baik. Saya boleh menggunakan belanjawan setiap bulan berpandukan 50-30-20 rules yang kerap digunakan oleh negara barat.
Jap, Amy, apa itu 50, 30 and 20 rules itu?
Itu satu konsep yang diperkenalkan oleh Elizabeth Warren dan anaknya Amelia Warren. Konsep ini membantu seseorang untuk mengurus belanjawan secara sistematik menerusi pembahagian wang tersebut kepada 3 bahagian.
Oh, begitu. Bagaimanakah konsep ini berfungsi pula?
Secara ringkasnya, konsep ini membahagikan belanjawan kami kepada 3 bahagian mengikut tahap kepentingannya. Misalnya, 50% merujuk kepada keperluan seharian yang mesti kami berbelanja, seperti makanan, minuman, pengangkutan, penginapan dan insurans. Malahan 30% merujuk kepada kehendak kami iaitu sesuatu yang tidak semestinya dimiliki tetapi hanya untuk meningkatkan taraf kehidupan, seperti membeli bola di pusat kompres dan hobi. Akhirnya, 20% pula ialah wang yang akan disimpan di dalam bank atau untuk menjelaskan hutang. Dan begitu untuk kami masih tidak perlu lagi menjelaskan apa-apa hutang. Oleh itu, wang tersebut boleh digunakan sama ada disimpan di dalam bank atau dilabur untuk meningkatkan keuntungan. Terima kasih Amy kerana sanggup memperkenalkan konsep tersebut kepada saya. Saya akan cuba mengaplikasikan konsep ini dalam kehidupan. Sama-sama.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. I am Nur Elisa Rudi and I am a Form 4 student and currently studying at Malaysia Art School of Johor. For today, I'm going to share about my money plans and some other things that might be useful. So let's get started. As a teenager, I think money is something that is so hard to come by, but more importantly, so hard to hold on. So I plan to manage my money wisely. However, I need to find out ways to generate money, especially during this pandemic. As a teenager, I only got money when I go to school, compared to when I am at home. So, to earn money, you could do jobs or provide services. I prefer to provide services to both of my parents. By doing this, I could get at least $10 for each job I do. Besides, I also managed to get more than $50 a week. After I earn money, I split my money for spending and saving. So, for spending, I only spend on my needs, not my wants. So, you might be confused which one is your needs and wants. Here's some tips for you. You should ask yourself whether it is something that you can't live without or is it just the other way. Since we are all teenagers, I think we don't really require expenses for our necessity. So I decided to make half of my money for spending, half of it for saving. So this is why I call it as 50-50 plans. 50% for your saving and 50% for your spending. How balanced is that? Here's another tips for you. You should start saving as best as you can. My mom told me when it comes to saving, every coin did count, and you should not buy something that is a craze of money. I mean, if you take a look from a different point of view, you might buy something just because everybody likes it, don't you? So my advice is, there is always something new coming out that everybody goes crazy for, such as new clothes, new bags, even new cell phones. But that's just people. So here comes the challenges. You need to refrain yourself from everything that not needed. It's hard to keep refraining yourself since we are all exposed to the social medias. But you should learn to control yourself and running out this plan. I hope this 50-50 plan will help you a lot in managing your money. And I also hope you have a nice day. Bye!